This is Season 7, Episode 143 of the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast.
Sometimes the important thing is not the number of miles you've driven, but what's going on inside your head while driving. The Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast will stimulate your mind and keep you company while on the road. Join us for education, motivation, and inspiration from wherever you may be in our nation. You'll hear roundtable discussions about important information that's impacting our industry. Plus, you'll learn more about new technology, equipment, driving opportunities, safety, and operations. Get driver success and fitness tips to keep you profitable, safe, healthy, as well as entertaining stories from the road. And don't you know, we've all got a few of those. We might be traveling in different directions, but we're all part of one driver community at the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. With your host, trucker Tim Cicciarelli.
Hey, good morning.
Well, hello, friends, once again, and welcome to Episode 143 of the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. My name's Tim Cicciarelli. You can call me Trucker Tim, and we've got about 30 minutes of content for you to keep you informed as to what's happening at Stevens Transport. Hopefully keep you a little entertained as well. And we're going to tell you how you can make a little extra cash as well by becoming a team driver at Stevens Transport. We do have our Stevens Transport News Bulletin coming up to fill you in on all the latest happenings at Stevens Transport. We're going to spotlight one of our drivers who just crossed that million-mile threshold, making him a Hall of Famer. He's a very interesting guy, and we'll have his audio from a video you can find in the Stevens Transport YouTube channel coming up in just a little bit. Our old friend Ken Resta's back with us, our senior safety supervisor, and Ken's going to provide us with some of the hidden dangers that drivers face every single day, and they might not be what you think they are. Ken will have that information for you coming up shortly. But let's kick off this episode by welcoming Kenny Harwell in as he explains planning and support for our drivers on our Stevens Roundtable. It's our Stevens Roundtable, the first segment of every episode of the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast, because the information we're giving you right here is information in real time about the inner workings of Stevens Transport and how you, the person on the side of the speakers, might be considering becoming a driver for Stevens so you can have an understanding of what's ahead of you as you embark upon this new career. And it is very important to understand all the roles, all the people in place to help make you a successful driver for Stevens Transport. So joining us for the first time ever on this podcast, though, from what I just heard, has been with the company for a few years. It's Kenny Harwell, one of our planners here at Stevens Transport. Kenny, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, sir.
Kenny, how long have you been with Stevens?
I've been with Stevens now for 6 years.
For 6 years, always as a planner, or other jobs that got you where you are today?
I started off as a driver manager on the company side. I moved over to a team DM role. They offered me a 7-on, 7-off schedule in between the company and the team DM role. Love that schedule.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
And then the opportunity came to become a planner. They offered that to me. I took it so I could keep my 7-on, 7-off schedule because I liked it so much.
Who wouldn't? That's pretty great.
Yeah, half a year off, man. It's
right?
It's lovely.
You work a lot for 7 days, but then you get the next 7 off. How nice. Yeah. So what is a planner for those that are new to trucking that need to understand what you do for them? What do you do for them?
An easy way to put it is that whenever a driver comes into my area.
And what is your area?
My area is the meat patch, what we call the meat patch. It is Wyoming down to New Mexico, El Paso, and then it shoots up into West Texas, and then West Texas up to Kansas, and then Kansas back up to parts of Nebraska and back up to Wyoming.
A lot of flatlands there, but also some mountains as well.
Oh,
too.
yeah, and a lot of weather.
And a lot of weather.
A lot of weather. Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so as a planner, and that being your region, how can you benefit our drivers? How can you help them?
So the meat patch specifically for Stevens is a major part of the company. I mean, that's pretty much our bread and butter, you know. But my goal is to get them into my area with a correct what we call PTA, letting me know when they're going to be ready for their next load, get them over to our meat plants, get them washed out, get them in to do a 10-hour break before they pick up the meat load, which the pickup time is called the DLD. And then after that, they pick the load up, they take off with it wherever they need to go. And that is part of my requirement, is to get them where they need to go. So if you're a student on a truck, you have to get 2 mountains. You have to go to the West Coast, you have to go to the East Coast, and you have to get a certain amount of hours driving behind the wheel,
240 hours. But you said 2 mountain runs, a West Coast, and an East Coast.
Correct.
So in addition to just hauling the freight, you're helping people check off those little boxes to get through their training.
Yes, sir.
So if somebody is in need of a mountain run, do the driver managers work with you directly, or the drivers themselves could, as their planner, to contact you and say, hey, I need this. Can you help me schedule me in this area?
It's going to be both. Both people would reach out to me, whether it's the driver, the DM, and even sometimes training, safety, if they need to come here. I mean, it's just whoever needs something specific. I am the one to help them get where they need to go.
Wonderful. So again, you're not just working with drivers that are in training. You're just working with some vets as well, too, to try to get them on their next load after they drop in your area.
Correct. Yes, sir.
And what type of advance notice do you need from them to try to get them not sitting for so long? That's
actually a really good question. The advance notice I would need is usually done whenever they actually pick the load up. And obviously it'll vary.
It takes some time for them to get there.
Yeah, it's good. It's going to take some time for them to get there. There could be breakdowns, could be weather, could be this and that. It all just depends on who's updating what. So if we get the update with what we call the PTAs with more accurate info, and sometimes it could be last minute. I mean, it could be while they're on the way down to the shipper, we have to pull a load off of them. There's a lot of variables in between there. It's just the best thing is communication. Just communicate with whoever you can and say, I need to relay this info to you and, help me out with getting into a shop.
And giving you as much notice as possible.
Exactly.
And how do they communicate with you? Which platform, which method, what do they do?
So a lot of times drivers like to call in, of course, because they're supposed to be hands-free, right?
Yeah.
That's the best and safest way.
Yeah.
If you're stopped, you can email us. We give you a planner map. You can email, like my area's meatpatchplanning@stevenstransport.com.
And we'll have that in the episode notes under this segment as well, too, so people have that.
Yes, sir.
And their driver managers do that for them as well, too? Or they just work with their driver managers to say who's going to contact you?
No, they can definitely let their DMs know that, hey, look, I want to take a 34 once I get done with this load because I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And then we'll set what we call the PTA, the projected time of availability, to whenever the 34 is done. So let's say today's the 23rd and you want to do a 34, but you want to wait until the morning after your 34. You say, hey, look.
And those are options they have.
Those are options that they have. Yes.
Awesome.
It's always best to knock the 34 out as soon as you're done, get running.
Yeah, that's right.
Of course. But let's be realistic. We're all humans. So we want to.
And they need to take care of themselves too. And
exactly.
there's so many variables too. It's just not a cookie cutter way of doing it. I mean, everybody might be sick or they might be tired or whatever it could be. Safety, of course, is number one.
Yeah. Wash your face. Wash your rear in that order, please.
And maybe a different cloth too, just in case you mix up the order.
Exactly.
Kenny Harwell, one of our amazing planners that's helping our drivers have successful runs and get their training done as quickly as possible by checking all those boxes. And of course, been around since 2018. And so hopefully you get him with one of his 7 days on. If not, we got some great backups that we'll be talking to down the road as well too. Kenny, thanks for being with us, buddy.
Not a problem. Thank you.
All right, time now to get informed with the latest updates on the transportation industry and to Stevens Transport with our monthly news bulletin.
Welcome to Stevens Transport News Bulletin. We bring you the latest updates in the transportation industry. Stevens Transport has just been honored by Kraft Heinz with 2 prestigious awards for 2024, the Dedicated Transportation Carrier of the Year and the High Volume Transportation Carrier of the Year. Receiving multiple awards in a single year truly speaks to Stevens Transport's dedication to logistics and transportation management excellence. Todd Aaron, vice chairman of Stevens Transport, expressed his pride in the achievement, saying, "Our team's dedication, hard work, and commitment to excellence are what make achievements like these possible. We take great pride in delivering best-in-class service to our partners. And these awards are a testament to the outstanding efforts of every member of the Stevens Transport family." Now, let's move on. We're thrilled to share some exciting news about one of our exceptional leaders at Purdue Farms. After 12 years of dedicated service as the on-site leader at our Salisbury, Maryland headquarters, Sonia McAvey has been promoted to Director of Purdue Farms Dedicated Services. In her new role, we are confident she will continue to drive success, elevate service offerings, and lead our dedicated fleet and operations team to even greater achievements. Congratulations, Sonia. Shifting gears now. Stevens Transport is proudly celebrating a remarkable milestone, its 45th anniversary. Founded in 1980 in Dallas, Texas, Stevens Transport began with a single truck and a bold vision. The company's founder, Steve Aaron, saw the growing demand for reliable transportation services for temperature-sensitive goods across North America. Today, after 45 years, Stevens Transport is a leader in time-sensitive, temperature-controlled truckload transportation and full-service logistics. Stevens Transport has a history of embracing innovation and continuous improvement in all parts of its operations, on and off the road. This dedication to quality has enabled the company to cater to a wide array of industries, such as food and beverage, pharmaceuticals, and other fields that need precise temperature-controlled transportation solutions, and the peace of mind real-time visibility offers. As Stevens Transport celebrates this significant anniversary, they extend heartfelt thanks to their loyal clients, dedicated employees, and partners, each of whom has been instrumental in the company's success. Their trust and support have been crucial in helping Stevens Transport adapt and thrive in an ever-changing industry. Share your photos and stories by email to social media at stevenstransport.com. Congratulations to Stevens Transport on 45 years of excellence. Here's to many more years of success together. And don't miss out. Grab your copy of the latest edition of the Bird's Eye newsletter on newsstands this Friday for all the latest updates and insights. Stay informed and inspired by the stories that shape our industry. Thank you for joining us on this edition of Stevens Transport News Bulletin. Have a great day.
Ever wondered what it's like to drive across the country and get paid to see America's breathtaking landscapes? Welcome to life as a team driver with Stevens Transport. The life of a trucker can sometimes feel solitary, but with team driving, you're never alone. Let's dive into how teaming up with another driver can transform your trucking career. So what exactly is team driving? Simply put, it's when two drivers share the responsibilities of operating the same truck. This allows for continuous travel and efficient delivery. Federal regulations require solo drivers to be off-duty for at least 10 consecutive hours after 11 hours of driving. Team driving, however, maximizes productivity by alternating driving shifts, cutting down on overall trip times. By working in shifts, team drivers can cover over 5,500 miles a week. That's more than double what solo drivers can achieve, leading to more priority loads and higher earnings. Efficiency is key. With two drivers, tasks like loading and unloading become quicker and easier. Plus, you'll earn more per mile. One of the greatest perks? You get to choose your driving partner, whether it's a close friend or a new acquaintance. Having a partner on the road makes those long hauls more enjoyable. And what about rest? Team drivers sleep in comfy bunk beds while the truck is moving, allowing for nearly non-stop travel without sacrificing sleep. Safety is another major advantage. With two drivers, there's an added layer of oversight to ensure committed safety. So, if you're ready to take your trucking career to the next level, consider team driving with Stevens Transport. It's the perfect blend of companionship, efficiency, and increased earnings. Explore the benefits of team driving and start your adventure today with Stevens Transport. Apply now and join a team that drives you to success. Your journey starts here.
Now more than ever, truck drivers are true American heroes. The men and women who literally keep America moving by delivering goods across the country. Being a professional driver is a rewarding, financially lucrative, long-term career filled with exciting adventures. A career where you'll never have to worry about job security. If you have your CDL and keep it up, it will sustain you for the long haul. You can see the country, serve your country, and provide a good life for your family. Whether you'd rather haul on a dedicated route or lane, or prefer working with one specific customer, if you want to own your business, we have a program that sets you up for success with all the tools and support you need. We've got opportunities in our intermodal rail division and have programs to help military veterans transition into trucking careers. We have second generations of drivers whose parents have driven for Stevens, who then trained their children and are now truck drivers. Some are even small fleet owners. So, whatever your dream is, you can achieve it right here at Stevens. If you're looking for a company with a 40-plus year track record that's never had a layoff and just had the largest pay increase in company history for both new and experienced drivers, Stevens Transport has you covered. We offer the finest tools and technology and provide our drivers with the best, state-of-the-art equipment on the market. Our infrastructure will support you both on and off the road. As a driver for Stevens, you become part of our family. Many companies throw the word family around. We're family-owned, family-run, and family-driven. Our 40-plus years of success is built on family. At Stevens, you're not just a number. Our drivers are part of our extended family, and we recognize and honor them every chance we get. If you want to be among the top income earners among professional drivers, if you want great benefits, if you want to have every type of driving opportunity at your fingertips, if you want to be part of a company that will stand behind you and ensure your success, come join the Stevens Transport family today and become an American hero. So, what are you waiting for? Take the first step toward your future career with the best trucking company in America. Become part of the Stevens Transport family today by calling our recruiting department at 1-800-333-8595 or apply online at stevenstransport.com.
Welcome back to the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. My name is Tim Cicciarelli, otherwise known as Trucker Tim. If you wouldn't mind, when you hit your next stop, please follow or subscribe to this podcast from whichever podcast platform you're enjoying it from. We are everywhere. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible. If it's a platform with a podcast on it, we are there. And by following the podcast, you'll have a brand new episode waiting for you each and every week as soon as it's released. And if you wouldn't mind, please leave us a review. Tell us what you like about the show and what you'd like changed. We are producing this podcast for you to keep you educated, informed, and hopefully a little entertained as well. Well, here in our newest driver spotlight, this driver reflects on his journey to becoming a million-mile truck driver, a new member of the Stevens Transport Hall of Fame. He'll discuss his humble beginnings to reaching this milestone, and he'll share his personal story, family support, and a passion for training the next generation of drivers. I also understand he's pretty good in the kitchen as well. This is the story of driver Jeffrey E. Jackson.
Jeffrey Jackson, driver trainer out of San Antonio, Texas, but raised in San Diego, California. I came in today because I accomplished 1 million miles and very excited about making that 1 million mile with this company. You don't realize it, you don't grasp it until it actually happens, and it feels awesome. Awesome. I've been at this for a long time in my driving career, so they were really excited for me, really happy for me. This is what my DNA says, so this is what I do. Started driving 18-wheelers in 1982. It was always a challenge for me. always to see that big truck, then I can do that. It was a challenge, and I took on that challenge and fell in love with it. I really believe that Stephen really do care about who you are. Everything has a pecking order, and everything, if you follow the order, everything falls in line. This is a business, so you got to treat it as such. It's family, but it's a business. I just want to make sure that they're safe, they're able to go home to their family, and make sure that the other family that's out there on the road is safe when they see a Stephen transport truck coming down the road. And that's just, that I live for that. I love to cook. I went to chef school. I worked in the mess hall in the military. My dad was a chef. I love to cook. There's nothing that I can't cook. From Mexican to Italian, you name it, I can cook it. You cannot top today. That's gonna be impossible. The people made me feel needed, not wanted. Some people that came to the ceremony made me feel needed. Many people that I have worked with, that I come in contact with in my life, has a reputation with Stephen Transport. And they say, look, that's the company to go to. I can say today, they're right.
That is audio from video you can find on our Stevens Transport YouTube channel. We'll have a link to that video in the episode notes. Let's talk safety. Let's have our friend Kenneth Resta when he's in trouble, if I remember correctly. Right? But we got Ken Resta with us, our Senior Director of Safety, to join us here on the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. Ken, good to see you again, my friend.
Tim, great to see you as well.
You know, we've had many opportunities to talk about the various technology that Stevens has implemented over the last year or so, and how our CSA scores have really done very well. And these are things that are very important, but we also need to talk about, let's just say today, Ken, the top 5 injuries a driver might suffer from. And from the conversation you and I had, these are injuries that I don't think many people think about. They're not what you think they would be.
That's right, Tim. You know, the most basic tasks that a driver can experience during the course of the regular workday. Mm-hmm. Think about things like getting in and out of the truck.
Yeah, so let's start there.
Using 3 points of contact, right? 2 hands and 1 foot, 1 hand and 2 feet in contact with the vehicle at all times. You know, it's a short fall, but it's a very painful fall. Mm-hmm. And history tells us that those injuries, you know, can take weeks, if not months, to recover from.
Wow, that could be a very expensive fall as well, too, in addition to painful.
And so the right approach there is, you know, don't try to get into your truck or out of your truck with things in your hand, right? Overloading yourself with material items and other things to, you know, put it on the seat, put it on the floorboard. Complete the task of exiting the vehicle or entering and move those things. Other things, simple task of walking, right? You and I do it every day from our car to the parking lot to the office when we park our vehicle.
Yeah.
How often are we itching to touch our cell phone?
No, right? And look at it while you're,
text while I was driving that I need to look at.
And some of these truck stops, it's quite a bit of a walk sometimes from your truck to inside.
That's right. Yeah. You know, slips, trips, and falls is the #1 injury in all industry, trucking as well, right? It's just that place where you really become complacent.
Yeah.
You're walking without paying attention.
Because you do it all the time naturally.
You're not looking at the ground. And truck stops, you know, they tend to have potholes. They tend to have parking vehicles for a long period of time. There's oil slicks, there's water, there's different types of fluid on the ground. Those are just things we take for granted in our day-to-day, and they really can cause us injury if we're not paying attention.
You know, Ken, on that note, we had an interview with a driver, and a new driver, and he was at a truck stop, and he was in the cab, parked, and got slammed into There's a lot of traffic coming in and out of there, and things happen. And so I suppose we ought to just keep that phone in our pocket till we get somewhere.
That's right.
Not as soon as we get out of the truck and walk across the parking lot and start checking our texts or whatever.
Nothing more important than awareness.
Yeah.
And that comes to all things that we do, right? Whether it's the driving, whether it's the occupying the vehicle, whether, even in our own homes, right? Or just general awareness of different sounds, different things that go on around you that can be different or change or be a disruption that we want to be aware of, right?
Nowadays, everybody's walking around with their AirPods in their ears too or something. And so that takes away another sense of being safe as you're walking around too. I mean, I know this seems kind of rudimentary, but like we've said for 7 seasons, it's great to have reminders from time to time, and an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure in every case. So I appreciate you bringing some of these up. So there's 2 things, getting in and out of the truck, just plain walking, you get hurt.
But something we do very often is open up our trailer doors. There's the possibility of freight shifting, leaning up against those doors, right? Making sure that you stand off to the side slightly and that you don't fully open that lock until you feel the resistance on the door.
Yeah.
And then once you release that latch, right, now you have to contend with potential for wind or something that can take that door away from you or hit you.
Yeah.
And so it's important that we remain stable with our door and that we hold it through the process, and then make sure it's secured using a bungee cord or the metal loop that's attached to the door so it's affixed to the side of the trailer and it doesn't come free and contact another vehicle, right, or another object. So trailer doors is a tricky one because it can also be a collision type or a type of contact, and it can be an injury source.
And it also can damage part of the truck too if it slams.
That's right. And it can put you out of service.
That too. And these are things that our experienced drivers would be like, yeah, been there, done that. But for our newer drivers as well too, very sage advice. So we got 3 potential hazards right there of the top 5.
And then I'll just touch on one more just because it is one that we tend to do every day. And in the local environment, we do it even more frequently. And that's couple and uncouple, where we drop the trailer and we reconnect to a new one or the same one. In that process, the landing legs that are dollied down on low speed, you can spin those pretty quickly. And that's not a good practice. By spinning that landing gear arm, you could lose control, and
as opposed to a controlled lowering.
2 hands, keeping both your feet slightly spread apart, standing towards it, and doing the circular motion, right? If you're spinning that landing gear, you run the risk or the potential of that landing gear arm coming free and hitting you in the jaw, in the nose, in the eye. We've seen many injuries over the years in trucking where people have sustained serious injuries from attempting to spin the landing gear.
We're talking lost teeth and broken jaws and noses too, or something like
injuries.
That. Yeah.
When you lose the control of that arm, it's a serious matter.
Yeah.
And again, it's an area that many take for granted.
And things people do every single day.
Every day.
And you can take it for granted, but one mishap and boy.
Yeah. So our advice there is 2 hands on the arm, 2 feet on the ground, stable, feet spread a little bit apart, and using that circular motion.
Yeah.
That extra 1 minute that it's going to take you to raise or lower it properly could save you weeks or months sitting home
in pain,
recovering from an injury,
losing money.
Yeah.
And think if that did happen to you, what you would give to get that 1 minute back to just do it right and not be in that situation, injured and not working.
That's right. We can prevent accidents. We can prevent injuries by just taking the time. Be sure that we set ourselves up for success.
Wonderful.
And that's in all things we do.
Ken Resta, our Senior Director of Safety, always just dropping tons of wisdom on our drivers and keeping everybody safe. And really proud to have you a part of this team and this podcast. Thanks, Ken.
Thanks.
Good to see you.
Great to see you, Tim.
All right, pump the brakes. That's it for episode 143 of the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. If you found this podcast because you're searching for a brand new career, please make sure you visit the episode notes. We will have phone numbers and every link possible for you to learn more about Stevens Transport and even schedule a call with one of our recruiters. All the information is in the episode notes. And like we said earlier, please follow or subscribe to this podcast from whichever platform you're enjoying it from and share it with one of your fellow drivers. We sure would appreciate it. And finally, my name is Tim Cicciarelli, otherwise known as Trucker Tim. Thanks for joining me. And until next time, be safe out there. And thanks for listening to the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast.